Welcome to the Insurance Agency Success Podcast, the only podcast that helps insurance agencies grow their business while increasing their happiness and joy. I'm Eddie Price, founder of Jenesis Software and an agency owner for more than 30 years. I have started, bought, sold, and scaled agencies, and for the last 25 years, helped others do the same through Jenesis. On this show, you're going to hear real stories and proven strategies to help you streamline your operations, increase profits, and really enjoy the business that you've built. And if you'd like to learn more about what we do here at Jenesis Software, just visit genesissoftware.com, click on the orange button to request a demo. Hey, thank you for joining this episode. Today, I interview Jarette Sampson. Jarette been a Jenesis customer for about 19 years, been in the business 19 years as an agency owner. And you're really going to like the episode, I think. Super cool guy, humble and really smart. And he has bought and started multiple agencies. He has formed an aggregator with 92 agencies currently inside that aggregator. You may even be interested in learning more about what he's doing there. He talks about kind of creating a niche and how he's made that successful as a segment of what he's doing. He's still doing personal and commercial lines insurance, but he has a niche. They'll talk more about that in the episode. So really a good episode. He talks about hiring team members, managing people, and he talks about what it means to be successful and what it means to be happy in this business. So I think you're going to like this episode. Enjoy. Jarette, it's good to have you today. Thank you for being here.
Man, thank you for inviting me, Eddie. Looking forward to it. And like he said, been a long time Jenesis customer, and I can actually remember the very first time I met you. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I remember the very first time I met you. I had just got into business. I think it was 18 years ago, 18 going on 19 years ago now, something like that. And I remember seeing something come along. We were looking for a management system for my father-in-law's agency, and I just happened to stumble across you guys, and I went to an event, and the public won't know this, but you know, Eddie's just as regular guy as anybody in the world, and he was just like, I didn't know a whole lot about insurance, and he was just so nice. I said, man, I don't know whether this platform is any good or not, but I at least want to do it because I like this guy.
That's awesome. Yeah, they say people do business, with people, and so thank you. No, that's cool. I did not remember the exact details of that, but 19 years ago, my gosh.
Yeah, time has a way of going. I was telling my wife, Aiden, my son is got a learner's permit now, and it is like the most paranoid thing in the world. I understand what my parents were going through, letting a 15-year-old drive you through traffic.
Well, that's not the worst of it. Jenna's 32 now, but when the worst of it, man, so this is your first child getting a permit? Is that right? Mm-hmm. So that's not as bad as when they get their license and they get in the car and drive away because you're worried to death. And you try not to be, and you relax, and you know that, life will take care of things. But that's the worst, is at least if you're in the car with them, you feel a little better, even though you might be at risk. But when they're out there by themselves and with their friends, that's a little harder. I'm glad this is finally happening.
Yeah, me too.
I think one of the best ways most of us have learned in doing this a long time is from each other and from other people. Iron sharpens iron. So I think that's the second reason, is if you and I talk about things for the next 20 to 40 minutes, that someone could watch and inspire them or make them stick with it when things get hard, or learn some strategies or ideas about how to be a better insurance agent, how to be a better business owner, then I think that's valuable to me and you to be able to help others. That's the second reason. And then the third reason is I just have really enjoyed, like, when was the last time you and I have talked? I don't know that we've ever sat down like this for 20 to 40 minutes and just talk. Just talk.
It never happens because we all live these lifestyles, whether it be this business or I'm into a lot of other businesses as well outside of insurance. And that's kind of evolved over to, the 25 years of me post-college I'm using this year as a big kind of reflecting year because I've been in the business world for 25 years now. I graduated college in the December of 2000, and so 2001 was my first year going into. I was a banker, and I went into that business, and I did that for about 7 years before the insurance business, and maybe 6, 7 years before the insurance business. And this year is a year that I've kind of taken a look at, like, how did all this happen and what do I want to do the next 25 years? Because you get to this point in life to where you got to looking at, like, how much time do I really have on the other side of my career? And
Yeah,
what does that look like? And where do you want to go to? And where do you want to take, I only have one son, and where does, my endeavors that I'm in now going to go to with him? And where is he going to go do? Will he be part of what I've built these 25 years, and or will he not, and go do his own thing? I'm gonna support him in no matter what he chooses. And just because you love something doesn't mean your children or your heir parents will love what you love. So
that's right.
it's all I've had kind of a reflecting year, so to speak.
That's good. No, we need those. Yeah, we're busy, and not that you and I haven't talked over the years, but when we do, it's either with a bunch of other people at a meeting or something, or it's on a quick phone call usually, and
Yeah,
we
they're
don't even do
normally
that
solving a
often.
problem. It's an
Solving a problem.
issue.
That's
You're
right.
solving a
Yeah.
problem. You've got an
Yep.
issue. Hey, Eddie, I know Eddie. Eddie can get me to the right people. Eddie will do
Yeah.
this, and you solve the problem, and we move on. It's in life. I've told people in society is, even with all the technology, and you being in the technology business, it has done a lot of things to make us very, very efficient and to increase a lot. And even like the AI things that are going on now, that is just evolving so rapidly. It's making us do things that we never thought we could do, even 5 years ago. But it's also making us very transactional. It's, we're transaction to this next transaction to this next transaction. And now we don't spend time doing the things with even your loved ones, even your family. We're not doing that. Whereas in a generation before, they would stop and have visiting days where they visited loved ones, visited family. That's not as prevalent in today's world.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it. Social media, technology, everything has changed
Yeah,
everything,
changed
which
everything
changed.
because we think we know people because we see them on social media, and we don't
Yeah.
take the time to visit them in person.
In defense, however, of technology and improvement, you can go back to the Industrial Revolution, and that was a big disruptor to how life was before
Mhm.
that. So along the way, that a lot of jobs were lost in the Industrial Revolution. A lot of things changed. And I saw a picture a couple of years ago, because a lot of people are sitting around these days with their phones in their hand, right? So if you get on
Mm.
a train or a bus, an airplane, a lot of people have their device in their hand. So I saw this picture. It's been a couple of years now. Everybody had their phones, and there was on a train or a bus or an airplane or something. And it was a back view showing everyone in there looking at a device, tablets, smartphones.
Mhm.
And it said, "This is today." And then it went back to like the 1920s, and it showed a train, and everybody was on the train holding like a newspaper. Had the newspaper out in front of them. My point is that just shifted. It was one thing that shifted to another thing. So I think we all have choices to make when it comes to prioritizing what's important, family, relationships. And
Mhm.
that's kind of on us not to let the industrial revolution or the technology revolution or the AI revolution kind of disrupt that to the point that it's not healthy. Let me go back. This is fun because, man, we're boom, 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 we're going down. I was telling you the reasons I'm doing this. Let's tell the viewers a little about you and how you got started in the business, and kind of tell that story up until right about now. And you've already told some of it, but let's go through that, if you will.
Yep. So after I graduated college, I went on and did the banking world for about 7 years, somewhere in that term, 6, 7 years. And my now wife's family was like, "You're really talented at what you do, and you're not going to advance but so much." Because I wanted to live in my rural community. I'm a southeastern North Carolina guy, and I wanted to live in my rural community. And they didn't have succession planning, and really wanted to do that. And I jumped in, and I absolutely fell in love because it was basically the same thing. You're meeting with people on banking business, and you're meeting with people on insurance business. And I basically fell in love with it because I realized that in the insurance business, it was all sales driven, and there really wasn't any income caps as there was with necessarily, we say, the banking world, where you're more of in a corporate structure.
Right.
And I jumped into then and started working in the insurance business, in the family business. And over the years, we've evolved and got into a lot of different things. I have a partner that we own an aggregator now, that we're in probably 92 agencies throughout the state of North Carolina doing business with them. We've bought several agencies, and matter of fact, I just bought another one and rolled it into an agency. And over the years, we've just continued to do that and grow and become more like this agency. The family agency is now evolved into a a premier commercial lines agency more than anything. I've stuck with the Jenesis model just because I love Jenesis, and we still have the retail up front, and we've done that, and it's just evolved to where now I went from more of like a sales side of it to more of the agency owner and running the financials and doing that. And then we've started another business that just did primary public sector work, just working with cities, counties, and schools, and that's all we do in that. And I've got salespeople that are out doing that. And so the insurance business over the years has just evolved into different things from just your home and auto. When I got in this those 19 years ago, now it's into a whole host of different things that I never really even would have dreamed of. I always tell people I do insurance, and I do a lot of things around insurance, but it's all insurance.
That's what I was going to ask you. All of that's around insurance. So the work you're doing. So when you're doing it, and did you call it public sector? What did you call it?
Yeah, public sector work. So what we do on the commercial side, we'll go in and do. I have an in-house risk manager. I have guys that work with claims management. Working with them, make sure claims are getting done, processed, da 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 da. And we work with these towns and cities, and have grown out and niched out a market where we just do municipalities. Last year, I was selected by Travelers to be one of two agents that they featured in their national marketing campaign of how to write public sector work. They're president of the company and come down to my community and spent the whole day interviewing me and doing the whole nine. They brought like 20 people down to did a whole commercial, and I was featured in their national marketing campaign. And and they are the number one writer of public sector insurance in the country. And so to be selected as one of their agents was a kind of a big honor for me, considering the girth that they have throughout this nation. And, for a little rural southeastern North Carolina guy, it kind of gave me some validation that, I must be pretty good at this, that I've niched out a market to do that. And we do that a lot all over North Carolina. So that's like a business that we started and learned. And, if you'd have told me that 19 years ago when I was learning how to write an auto policy for Jimmy and Kathy and their little son Timmy, I mean, I would have been like, "How in the world do you even do that?" But I've done like you said. I mean, we've communicated, we've learned. I've went to all over this state and multiple states up to Virginia, down into South Carolina, and over the years, and met people and been to conferences, and you meet guys there, and you know they don't see me as threatening. And hey, can I see what you're doing? Yeah, man, come on over, and we'll talk and chit chat, and you garner relationships. And I've done it with the carrier levels. I've gotten, I've flown out to San Antonio on multiple occasions and met with the Travelers people and all their people and learning how they operate and do. So it's just learning and continuing to get better. And I tell my wife all the time that I don't know what the next 5 years hold, but I know the next 5 years is be different than these 5 years. And so I've got to get better and learn what is going on. I'm going to a conference I was looking at the first of the year in Vegas. It's all around AI and all around AI about insurance, right? Like, I don't know what's going to be out there at that conference, but I want to go see it. And I want to go, so I do things like that. So I'm always trying to figure out how can I get a little better and a little more knowledgeable about my industry. And, and selfishly, I do it for other reasons because we've been blessed and done well that I think that, if I want to ride this out and retire and go live at the beach one day and sit by the pool and read books, I guess I could do that. But maybe my son will get interested in it. I'm trying to push that, and maybe I can leave something to him that he can get interested in and even take it farther than I dreamed about. So that's kind of my idea.
I've talked to people. Luckily, I've been around most people. Most of the people I've been around over the years enjoy sharing. But I have talked to a few that over the years they're like, I'm keeping that secret. And I think what happens is when you try to hold on to a couple of good secrets that you've got, a couple of good strategies that you don't want anybody else to get a hold of the strategy. The problem is everybody's got a couple of good secrets. And if you go out and you talk to 10 people or 100 people, and I'm imagining, I know what I've done over the years, and I'm imagining what you just shared. You go out and you talk to dozens and dozens of people, and you share your 2 or 3 secrets with them. You give them away, and all of those people share their 2 or 3 secrets each with you. Think about how much better off you are. You've got hundreds of secrets, hundreds of trade secrets from all these people, even though you had to give your 2 up. Because the 2 secrets I've got, man, they're not worth all that much, quite honestly. But if I get your 2 secrets and Todd's 2 secrets and hundreds of people's get their secrets, then that's the way to grow, and that's through collaboration. So in my experience, people that describe how they view business the way you just did are the people that are having the most success. The people that are holding everything close to the vest are the ones who typically don't grow as much. They're not quite as successful. So I think that approach is right.
They end up just they grow older and they just kind of go away. They just deteriorate in. And I don't think that's the way that it's worked because the world's a very, very large place. And there is a lot of things out there for all of us. And I just don't think that holding on to things is not going to make you prosperous. And ultimately, I think they don't end up succeeding because they keep that mindset and then they don't go learn new things. They hold on to what they have. And they're not constantly evolving to try to figure out what someone else doing. Because I know one thing's for sure. There's a lot of people out here in this industry that know a lot more than me. And I just like to learn from them. I want to hear what they've got to say.
That's right. And that's another thing about learning is I think you will make more progress in life. I'm not even just talking about, Jarette, growing my insurance agency. I'm talking about progress in life. You will make more progress in life, in my opinion, when you spend more time learning, trade some of the time that you would be doing stuff. Because like if you sit there and wrote policies all day long, you're probably good at it. You could write a bunch of auto policies. You're good with talking to the customers and running the quotes and understanding and explaining it, have a way with people. But when you trade some of that labor for learning, I think that propels you forward much faster in every area of life. So anyway, trading learning, trading your time of doing for time learning, I think is a good trade-off.
Very much so. Very, very, very much so.
Do you think you were talking about your aggregator, right?
Right.
Do you think that's something that on this podcast, are you looking for people there? Do you want to share information here about that? Would anybody here be interested in contacting you about that?
It's a little interesting with the aggregator is as it's grown, we are actually being more selective over the years now of bringing agencies on and really focusing on how do we grow agencies to do more business with us. It has been one of those. Yeah, I'd love to talk to anyone interested in it, needing help because we're always looking for those that want to write. more quality business and really explore the commercial side of things. By the same token, we don't want to be, just giving a contract to everybody out
Right.
there. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, we're always interested in talking about it. Agents Inc. is doing a great job, and we've grown exponentially.
It's called what? Agents Inc.
Agents Inc. Yep. We're based out of Fayetteville, North.
AGENTS Inc.
Yep, Agents Inc. We're based out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and we've done great. But one of the things we're really trying to do with our agents is to grow their book to where they want to be. We want to be their number one choice, not just for some of their contracts, but for all of their contracts. So we can show more of how they can increase their profit sharing, how we can write more complex business because we've got a lot of knowledge in writing, larger complex commercial accounts, partnering up, writing public sector business, doing large trucking risks, doing large real estate portfolios. So we've gotten, pretty good at that. And we really want to meet with agents that are interested in that and not get intimidated because, oh, I'm a smaller agency. I can't do X, Y, and Z. I can't do what Brown and Brown does or Arthur J. Gallagher. Not being intimidated. And, everyone's got relationships. And those relationships, just like what you said, when I met you all those years ago and we started doing business together, you draft me for a lot of months now because of long-term relationships,
Yeah.
and those are one of those things that when you look back on it, you do business with people you like to do business with. And if people like you, we can help you get the knowledge that you need to be able to write those complicated accounts. And that's what we really focus on. And so agencies that are out there looking to do that, we're definitely a market to help you if you're really interested in growing things on the commercial side of business.
Okay. So it's commercial. And is it agentsinc.com or what is it?
It's AIINS.us.
Got it. Okay, cool. And so they could go on the website, check it out, learn more, and if they're wanting to increase their commercial book, potentially check that out and contact you to see if they might qualify. And what they're getting is markets.
They're getting access to markets, and they're also getting access to experienced commercial agents. They're able to help them write very complicated risk, and also placement of those complicated risks. So they get a lot with that. And the best thing about it is that we're all about the agents. So if they write a nice account with us, where they would never hit profit sharing and things like that, they're going to automatically qualify by doing business with us because they're going to be in our pool. So there's a lot of value adds that they get by doing business with us, increased commissions, whole 9 yards. It's a great we're very much like a family. We'll rent out a suite at Fayetteville Woodpeckers game and all go out to hang out and watch baseball. I mean, we do all types of stuff together. So it's really, the old saying, it was designed for agents. It was designed by a lot of agents for the agents. So all of us that started this thing, there's a little group of us that started it. It was just designed, to help the agent because we were all struggling and wanting more, and we wanted to do our own thing. So that was what we did. And opposed to going to an SIA or an SIA or whatever, the different aggregators that were out there, we wanted to do our own thing.
Are those agents just in North Carolina or all over?
North Carolina.
Okay. So this opportunity is just for North Carolina agents.
Yep.
At the moment. Okay,
At
cool.
the moment.
Got it. Thank you. When you think of the word success, and this this is however you want to think about this in terms of just success as a word, could be business and or personal. How do you define success? Because people probably tell you, "Oh, you're successful," but regardless of why they think you're successful, what do you think success means? How do you define it?
In my world, success, I'm always smiling. So one of the things I define success is really ultimately is happiness. Are you enjoying what you do and able to live a lifestyle that you're comfortable living? Because ultimately, I tell people, we're not here forever. And I don't care if I tell people I'm not giving up my life for anybody. I said, I'm not switching with Mark Zuckerberg today. because I don't know how happy Mark Zuckerberg is. He may have a lot more money in there than I do, but I don't know how happy Mark Zuckerberg is. And he may be even happier than I am. But I know that I enjoy what I do. I enjoy coming to work every day and learning and getting better at the insurance business. And I feel like my family and I are able to do the things we want to do. And we're a happy family and we enjoy life. So, happiness ultimately is my degree of whether you're successful or not. Are you enjoying this ride that we're going through day to day? If you're getting up in the morning and you don't like to go do what you do, that most of the time is at a minimum 40 hours a week, then you need to seriously consider doing something different, because you will never find success without finding joy in what you do. I just don't think it's possible. If you don't,
You're doing, because you're spending too much of your time doing that
you're
thing.
spending too much of your time. You know, I'm a fairly early riser. I get up around 5:30 every day and drink my coffee and get my day going and take my shower and getting off, and I'm in my office most mornings. Aiden gets off to school. He gets up about 6:30, and I see him before I leave, and so 7 o'clock I'm at the office. And throughout the course of a day, it may be 6, 7 o'clock, and sometimes I have meetings, and I serve on various boards and organizations, and like tonight I got a meeting, and I may not get home to 8:30. I'm putting a whole day, a lot of hours. I mean, that's a 14-hour day, right? You better enjoy what you're doing, because there's only 24 hours. I've only got 10 hours left in the whole day,
Right.
and I've got to sleep for at least 6 of them. So
That's right.
so you're spending the majority of your day doing this. Why not enjoy what you're doing and try to get better at it? I mean, if you're going to be at it every day, try to get better at it than you were the day before.
Yeah.
Learn something new. I try to do things like, if I hear something, or I keep a notepad thing with me in my car most of the time. It's got a little iPad mini and stuff in it, and I'll jot stuff down and jot things. And that night when I'm at home, I'll just Google it, research it, chat GBT it, and learn a little bit about it, right? Like, it's something that come across me, and of course Dad didn't have time to research it, whatever. And it can be random things, but it makes you learn, and it makes you, be a little bit better. And I just think that's the way you got to be every day in the workforce. You've got to enjoy what you're doing, love going to work, and because if you're not, you'll never find that happiness, which ultimately will lead to success, because you will get success and do well. I'll tell people overnight, I'm a 25-year overnight success.
Yeah, that's right.
I've
That's
literally
right.
been working with the public for 25 years now. I mean, like this, and I've been in this same geographical region of the state my whole time. And so there's very few people that I don't know or have a relationship with or met or whatever the course may be, because I'm a very outgoing person. But ultimately, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And the success will come if you stick with it. But you can't, insurance is like, it's not like building a house, for example. If you build a house and you sell a house and you make a good profit, that's what you made, right? If you sell one policy, you're not going to make a living. You're not going to be successful. You're not going to be like, you got to
Right.
sell, you got to continue to do that. And after a while, after year one, after year two, and after year 5, and then 10, and after a while, you'll look back and you're like, I forgot I've sold most of this stuff. And, because if you give them good service, and, and your staff does their job and they're taken care of, and you do yours, it's a long-term success thing. So I think you have to be very diligent to continue to work at it day to day.
I love all that. And most people, when I ask that, what I would define as successful people, most people that have been doing this a long time and that have grown their business, when I ask them about success, they usually frame it in some way other than money, which is what you just did. You framed it in happiness. And I could agree more. And you said something earlier about one day you could retire, and like Lisa and I could retire now. We could sell, but I don't know what I'm going to do, man. because I like what I do. I like what I do every day. Like right now, this is a job for me. I'm talking to you, and this is my job at the moment. So I agree. I think people that are not happy, Jarette, need to seriously evaluate what they're doing and try to find something that makes them happy. And I would tell that to even my best team member. As much as I might hate losing them, if they're not happy where they are in this organization, they should go find something that they're passionate about. Let's move on. What's the hardest thing do you think about being an insurance agency owner?
I think it's like most businesses. I think staffing and finding people that really want to learn this industry is probably my hardest job. It is. I think it's a generational thing, and insurance is not as sexy as a lot of other careers. And so finding people that really want to learn this business is not easy. It goes back to what I said earlier. It's almost like delayed gratification, right? So most people don't want to get into something that is going to take literally years to go to the levels they want to go to. They think they should go there quicker. They think they should do it rapidly, or I could go in and be making this over here in this industry. And insurance is just typically not like that. And it is a lot of learning. It is a learning curve to really, especially on the commercial side, to learn all the different things that you need to know. I think hiring talent is always probably the hardest thing about an agency owner is and finding people that find joy in this industry. I think that's my hardest job, and that's just the nature of it. If you would have told me when I was a little kid you're going to sell insurance for 20 years, I'd been
Yeah.
like, nah,
Yeah.
not doing
Same.
that. That's boring, you know.
Same.
But I also, I go back to the Amazon effect. I use this story. I'm gonna share. So when I was a little kid, I was 10 years old. The best team in the world was the Oakland Athletics, and they wore these batting gloves, Franklin green batting gloves. I wanted those batting gloves worse than anything. My mom searched, couldn't find them, and I nagged her so bad. My little league baseball coach found a magazine, and you could order those batting gloves, and then it took like 2 weeks. This was a month-long process to get these batting gloves, and I was the happiest little kid in the world. I got these batting gloves. If my son couldn't hit that button and those batting gloves bid his house in a day at 2 days max, he's already forgot about those batting gloves.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
You know what I mean? Like he would
Yeah.
have never he would because he's grew up in a world to where as long as you put your face in this phone or if you put this thumb on this iPad, it will ship here to my house.
Yeah. Lisa ordered a new Keurig last night. We were sitting on the patio. It was about 9 or 10 p.m.
Yeah.
When we got up at 6 o'clock this morning, it was sitting on the front porch.
Yep. That's the world we live in. And insurance is such a delayed gratification business. I really find it that people don't necessarily, and then when they realize it's not as easy, because I watch it with other agencies, they'll end up flaming out and they get out because it's not easy. People garner those relationships seriously. So when you're trying to steal clients from another agent, it's not easy. You've got to work at it.
Do you have advice? Like if somebody's smaller than you, has fewer employees than you, been doing this less time than you, and they're saying, I need to hire somebody, maybe my first hire. Do you have advice? What are the best tricks on where to find them? How much to pay them? What is it about culture? What are the tricks or what are the components that make somebody findable and keepable? Is keepable a word?
Yeah, sounds good to me. But I don't know if there's necessarily tricks, but I definitely think it has to be in someone's culture that you're looking for someone that is very goal oriented from the standpoint of they can share a vision of where they want to be. They want to see the things that maybe you have or you've accomplished or things that are in this industry accomplished and see if they're really motivated towards those things. They have to be a very goal oriented person to want to do this. I just don't if they have this mentality, no, I just want to check. I just want to work 9 to 5 and that's what I want to do. And I don't have this vision of grandeur or visions of. I just don't think those people are going to blame out in this industry. The person you're looking for has got to be very goal oriented to the standpoint of, like, I got a young man that I'm grooming right now. He's finishing up over here at the university, and I've got a lot of kids that's come through the university with me over the years, and he interned with me and things like that. And I really think that the child's going to do well. But the thing I really like about him is that even the way he speaks, it's about where he wants to be at year one, year three, year. This is he's kind of laid out what he wants to do in his 20s and where he wants to go. And I think the kid's going to do great. But even if he doesn't do great, he's going to do great no matter what he does. But I really think he'll do well in this industry because he has a genuine love, and I got him to get licensed, and he was like, "Oh God, that's great!" I got him to, while he's in college, and just different things to try to encourage him and get interested. And he doesn't mind learning, and those are the things you're looking for. Is that are they goal oriented, and do they really have that vision to want to see something past just today, that instant gratification, as they say.
I think all that's true. And I've heard the phrase something like this: hire for culture and then train skill. So don't go just try to find somebody that's already an insurance agent that's been doing this for a long time. Hire somebody with the right attitude, personality, and fit with your culture, and then get them licensed and train them how to be a good insurance agent. I've also heard this as it relates to this conversation: hire slow and fire fast. Take your time in hiring. Don't rush it. But when you realize that this person's not a good fit, for your sake and for heaven's sakes, theirs, for their sake, end the relationship quick. Don't let it linger on. Once you know that this is not going to work out, don't just let them stay because you don't have the guts to end the relationship. So, yeah, I think you're right. And I think if you're in an interview and you ask the person, do you have any questions about, like you ask them a bunch of questions, and hopefully in an interview, we're asking the applicant all these questions about them and letting them talk to us. Hopefully we're not telling them all about our company. I think that's a waste of your time early on, is to don't sell your company yet. Let's learn about this applicant, make sure they're a good fit. Then as we get closer to the hiring, maybe making them an offer, let's sell them hard on our business. But in that interview process, if one of the first questions they've got is, how much vacation time do I get?
Yeah. You're never going to make it.
Then that's a bad way to start out, in my opinion. That's the way it's played out for me. You talked about AI. Are you doing anything more than ChatGPT right now with AI?
No, I am not at that point yet, but that is that is a 2026 goal. I've started working on doing some research. Like, I had a guy that is doing it. He was looking at, he's wanting to build me a custom chat bot. AI bot or whatever you call it. So I'm exploring that. I'm interviewing, I'm researching, but as far as me, I have not pulled the trigger on what the next steps are. You got some good advice for where I should be going with it? But it is a 2026 goal. It is definitely something that I want to use more than just the $20 a month for ChatGPT.
I'm with you. No, I think we're all just kind of figuring it out right now. But what we did this year was we took one quarter, last quarter 3, and every department had a task for the quarter of working with their team to research a list of potential AI tools that they could use in their department. So sales, marketing, support, training, the different departments, development. So their goal, and we had to present it at the end of the quarter. Each department had to work with their team, come up with a list of potential ideas, because I wanted this to be on each person, not just on me to go out and do the research. And then they had to pick one solution that they would implement by the end of the quarter. So that helped us. We had a goal, we had a deadline, and it was spread across the organization. It was company-wide initiative, and that proved to be beneficial and it was funny because some of the things they kind of come across crossed over a little bit, but there's different tools for different things. Like I'll give you an example. With our sales department, one of the tools they found was AI role playing. So in sales, it's a good idea to role play. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
We don't do it enough, most of us, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea to role play. Well, there's an AI tool. I've forgotten the name of it. If you email me or email Jenna, we'll tell you. And now you tell it what you're selling and all that, and you go on. And dude, it is crazy. You do, like in our case, we would demonstrate Jenesis, and it would ask us questions, and then it would have objections why it's not going to buy, and we would have to. And then at the end, it grades you and gives you advice on how you did. So we did that. And my point is, I guess, my advice is spread it across your organization, assign people tasks to come up with things in their area that will help them. Speaking of chatbot, by the way, we have a chatbot. You should check it out. We can put it on your site next week. It's amazing. And
yeah, I need to look at that chat. I have one. I have a chat bot that I use on my mini storage business. So we're into mini storages as well. And so I have a company Swivel that I use, and this chatbot's pretty cool. I'm really liking their chatbot. So I've thought about I need to put me one on my website. So I've been using it in the last 3, 4, 5 months. It's pretty cool. So there's different things, and I'm really interested in these tasks. That was one of the things we did this year. Is kind of like you. The problem I didn't do enough timeline, but finding up. So we've come up with some ideas of how we could use a chat, like our own AI bot within the agency, and so we're just exploring. And I love technology, but I'm also one of these. I always like for people to jump first in technology, so
I'm with you.
I keep kind of wanting to see what else is coming out that I feel like and I don't think I'm behind. I mean, I'm sure I'm probably behind, of course, because you're always behind, but I don't think I'm unsurmountable behind because I still think it's evolving so much.
I think it's fine. I think the worst thing you can do is lose sleep over worrying about being behind. I think relax, keep your eyes open. I do not think it's the end of the world to let some other people go ahead just a minute and then jump in. Because if you are a hard worker and you do things well and you do things for the right reasons, in my experience, catching up's not a big struggle. We've got several things we're offering people. We're also doing some cool stuff with automated AI Google review responses. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing that now?
I am not.
Okay. We offer that too. So you ought to check with us about that. And these things that we've been doing, we've had 100% success with. It's worked for everybody. And we've not had any agencies not love it. And nobody's ever canceled. So we're kind of excited about that. That won't continue forever, by the way. One day, I can't say that. Sometime, one day, eventually somebody will cancel. Tell me this. If you're giving advice about growing your agency, you're giving somebody says, man, I'm just kind of starting out. I'm by myself. I really want to one day be where you are, old man.
Yeah.
What would you tell them? Any simple advice for growth?
Simple advice for growth is be active, be in the community, become the community. Because you're in a small mom and pop shop, you must become the guy. Like over time, that's what I get back to the time piece of it. Like, I don't have to call, like, the business I just give my agents today is enough to feed more than myself, to be honest with you, just because I've become the guy. Like, if there's something complicated, if there's something weird, I get calls on stuff. I have agencies. I kid you not, I field at least a couple of calls a week from other agencies in my area, where they call me and say, "Will you help this person? I don't know how to do this," or "Will you do this?" or "Can you do this? Can you write this?" or "Can you become the knowledge base? Be smart, learn everything you can, and be active in the community and helping people. And ultimately, it will grow because you will become the guy." And and that gets back to the work ethic and the grind piece of it, is because you will become over time, being diligent. You're the insurance guy that they know they can go to. Our our transportation business is by far the largest transportation business in our region. And it's all because everybody out there trucking and doing things like, well, you got to call those guys. They know how to do it. Or, I had a guy just call me just a little about an hour ago. He's a friend. He said, Jared, don't know if you know how to do this, but I know you do. And he throws out what he's working on. I said, yeah, can you meet with such agent in the morning? She'll explain exactly what you got to do. He's leasing on another driver and he's doing this. And then, he's never did it. But we've done it so much. He's like, well, look, we can help you out. Just come by here. I told her you'd be here at 9:30. Da 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 da. She'll walk you through it. Man, I appreciate that. Da da da. You know, it's probably gonna make, they're gonna spend $10,000, $15,000 on that account. You just made $1,000 by knowing something.
So be active, be active.
Be active, and be visible.
Yeah. And that goes back a little bit like, well, not exactly, but I said earlier, to learn, spend more time learning and less time just doing all the time, instead of just staying in your office and just answering the phone when it rings. And
you better be out there. You
yeah.
better be able to figure out how to get out there in some capacity so people know you and you become the reputation. I've been very active in a lot of things. I was telling somebody, like at my university, I think I've served on every possible board it is to serve on the last 20 years. I don't, if they'll let me off this last board, I promise I won't get on another one. But or whether it's been through politics or whether it's been through volunteering for this or doing that, I've just been involved in so much stuff over the last 25 years in this community, and it's just become part of life. Like my wife just knows Jared's going to be at a meeting 1 or 2 nights a week. That's just the way it is. He's always got somewhere he's supposed to be. I got to be somewhere tonight at 6 o'clock, and she just knows that that's the way it is and the way I operate. And I'm not going to change it. It's in my DNA.
Yeah. And it's not in everybody's. I get that.
Yeah.
We'll start winding down. A couple more things, either based on something or something you've heard in your office. What can Jenesis do better? What advice could you give us?
The only thing that I really see in Jenesis, and it's been an ongoing thing because we've talked about it, and you guys have worked at it, but I still say that the commercial side of Jenesis can always just grow more, but it's not what it was designed for, and it's come a long ways. It does great with a lot of stuff, but I just think that the technology that's out there in some of the platforms that Jenesis could always do, but it's not your market segment. It's not what you're designed for. So why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? That's just
but
my thought.
Thank you. But the nature that I have of wanting to improve makes me want to improve that. Not now, like there's probably some other things we would say, no, that's not what we do. But in terms of commercial, I don't, you're right. We've invested a lot of time and money there, especially in Jenesis now over the last 2 or 3 years, grow more in commercial. So good advice. Thank you. The next few questions are really more about you, and just answer them as best about your agency. Answer them as best you can, and we'll go through them pretty quick. It's meant to be mostly fun. Okay.
Right.
Why should someone choose your agency to do business with?
They're going to get the most knowledgeable staff about what we're doing in my entire region. Every employee that I have here now, believe it or not, except for one, has been with me for over a decade. I have literally got 8 people in here, and every one of them has a minimum of 10 years experience. Most of the people have been here my entire career. Well, they were here. Some of them were here before I was here, and they are just exceptionally knowledgeable, and they are very family oriented because we've been together so long. They are going to get the best service that they could possibly get. But not only that, they're going to tell you the things that can happen. We will run business off to not do it the wrong way because we see people getting done the wrong way a lot in this industry. And my agents just don't operate like that. And so they're going to get an exceptional knowledge base.
Okay, good. Perfect answer. Would the answer be any different if I said, how is your agency different from your competition? Or is it the same? You just said a lot of this.
Difference. That's going to be the difference.
Those same things. What's your agency's mission in a nutshell?
Our mission is to be the absolute best independent agency in all of southeastern North Carolina, and that's no joke. We really pride ourselves to make sure we're more efficient, we communicate better, we work harder than everyone. I mean, that's really what our mission is. We want to be the best agencies in all of Southeast. I mean, that's just what I do every day. I try. I don't know if I get there, but I try.
I got you. I think this is my last question. If another agency owner, this one's not about you actually. If another agency owner would ask you why they should use Jenesis, what would you say?
Very much the same answer. Jenesis is a family business. You can actually get to the top of Jenesis if you need to, and that they will help you solve your issues. If you've got an issue, it will get solved. Like I said, I've been with you for 18 years, I think. I've never had an issue that did not get fixed within Jenesis. Even if it was something that you said, we've got to work on that, and this is a programming issue, we've got it as a ticket, and we will get it. It's happened. I mean, we put in multiple tickets over the years, and it gets fixed. And you guys do the thing that, like I did, you want to be the best management system you could possibly be. And you want to help agencies that don't know, they don't know what they don't know. And
right.
You guys help them, moving from the guy that just starting out or the nice lady, and they're just trying to learn how to keep up with 20 policies, to the guy that's got agencies all over the place. You guys will work with them all. So it's been a great partnership for us, and I wouldn't change anything.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Kind words. If anyone would like to get in touch with you about anything that we've talked about today, would that be okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. You have my cell. You have my email.
Let's give them your email address on this on the podcast here.
All right.
You want to give
my email
what is that?
Jarette at Dial Insurance NC like North Carolina.com. That's JARETTE at Dial DIAL Insurance NC.com.
Man, I don't have anything else, and actually, that's not true. I've probably got a lot more stuff we could talk about. And I wouldn't mind doing this again one day.
Yeah, man, you let me know. We'll do another.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say before we end our time?
No, man, I've enjoyed it, Eddie. Thank you for allowing me to come on the podcast. And if I can be of any assistance to you or anyone that wants some advice about Jenesis, we run multiple versions of Jenesis. We're still running a classic version, and we have other offices. We're running a Jenesis now, so a lot of experience. Really like the company, and anybody have any questions, I'm happy to share my experience.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Take care. Take care, Eddie.
Nice.
Thanks for listening to the Insurance Agency Success Podcast, where independent insurance agencies like you get the tools and insights to grow, streamline, and enjoy your business. And if you're ready to simplify and scale, visit JenesisSoftware.com, Jenesis with a J, and click on the orange button to request a demo. I appreciate you being here. Keep growing, keep building, and I'll see you next time.